Welcome back to Reducing School Conflict. Congratulations, this is your last week. I know each of you has learned a great deal in this course, and I am particularly thrilled with how each of you has been applying the material to a real school system. I am imagining the real contribution that you are making and will be making to an important school system. I want you to know that I am here for you long after graduation to mentor, assist, consult in any way. I feel this is one of the most important issues that the U.S. faces at the moment, reducing school violence. I have been a part and close to too many tragedies, starting with the Columbine tragedy. I would like this week to remind you that I have asked you to keep a social justice journal as a part of this class. And those of you who wish additional credit for participation points are welcome to submit that to me. You need to do it as soon as you are able to give me sufficient time to review and credit before your final grades are due, and they are due within 72 hours of your final class in a week. So please give me enough time to review and give you credit. NCRP, and I imagine you share this belief with me, hopefully you will share this experience, has so much to offer our schools. This course only begins to review and present the possibilities. Now, I have been encouraging you throughout the course to be practicing the skills that you're learning in NCRP so that you are progressing with your mastery, particularly the skills that I recommend for diffusing and de-escalating violence. If you have not had a chance to do this, I would encourage you to become actively involved in a professional group like the Association for Conflict Resolution Society that has an active group concerned with education, conflict, violence in the schools. There are other groups as well. There's actually several out there, but that is the one that I have been the most closely involved with. And so it's the one I'd like to recommend to you based on my experience. You will find others who share your passions and interests, and they will be invaluable resources if you actually proceed with doing conflict resolution, peer mediation in our schools. The other thing I'd like to do this week is to review my tips for earning maximum credit in this course. Now, I have said this to students for many years. I am fine if you earn a B in the course and you will go on to do great things. I really don't think the student anxiety over grades and grade point is that warranted in our field. Most of you do not go on for terminal degrees, and you do not need to worry about your transcript. You just need to pass the course, and I hope you focus on what has most meaning to you. That said, I know many of you take your grades very seriously, so here are my tips. As I said last week, use both the grading rubric and the learning outcomes to evaluate, to edit your work, your written work, line by line. I would ask yourself, what can Professor Erb credit with this line? And if the answer is, I don't know, there's no reading integrated, there's no lectures integrated, there's no real-world application critical analysis, then I would change it if you want to earn more points. Now, an easy way, I say that, with some quotes around it, because I know how many of us struggle with carefully proofreading our writing with busy lives. It's a tedious task, but it is critically important as you're preparing to do your culminating portfolio. Using spell check and correcting misspellings will automatically earn you some points if you have any misspellings in your paper. Proofreading and correcting your grammar and your punctuation, and I would suggest you read line by line, perhaps out loud if you find it difficult to do, or perhaps even with someone else so you can have some fresh eyes. One time to ask about grammar and the next to ask about punctuation. You will lose points, and I'm repeating some of the grading rubric here, if you simply string quotes from your reading without actively engaging with your real-world case study, needs assessment, and critical analysis. That assigned reading is important to reference and integrate, but it needs to be done with a sophisticated critical applied analysis. That is why I asked you to start this course with a real-world needs assessment. So feel free to use the facts and the details from that needs assessment. I think I've said enough, and I will give specific feedback once you have submitted your paper. May not give you as much as I did early on in the course because of my final grade deadline. But you're always welcome to contact me later to even sit down or get on the phone to go line by line to understand what it is you can do to do your best possible work. All the best. I hope we stay in touch. I hope I get to hear what you do in the real world. Have a great week.